going on, guys? It's your boy Dylan the Villain coming back at you once again with some more Total Extreme Wrestling 2020. It is Saturday, week 4, September 1997. We are on our way to the Unforgiven pay-per-view. But before we get to that, we got to knock out Shotgun Saturday Night and Sunday Night Heat before we get to that pay-per-view. And before we do that, we got to knock out the pre-show. In an abysmal pre-show matchup, Mike Awesome, after taking a big loss on Monday Night Raw against Chris Candido, he picks up some momentum as he defeats jobber Louis Spicolli by pinfall with an awesome bomb. The match got a 41. Mike Awesome with a 64. Louis Spicolli with a 34. Louis Spicolli debuted his Extremist gimmick. It got great. Announcing color commentary gave the match a boost, and Mike Awesome benefited from having a hot new move. Mike Awesome lost to Chris Candido on Monday Night Raw, and he picks up a big win here tonight. A dominating victory over Louis Spicolli. We go on to our main event of the pre-show, in a pre-show matchup that had terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat. Fifth Finlay defeats Jim Neidhart by pinfall with a Celtic Cross Emerald Fusion. Same thing. Finlay with almost a 60, a 58, and Jim with a 45. Announcing color commentary again, the match boost. The match got a 56. We open up the show as we see Shawn Michaels standing in Vince McMahon's office. And Shawn Michaels pretty much going to Vince's office and making sure that he's still number one contender. Vince is like, you are still number one contender. You did not get your fair shot due to the interference of Kevin Nash and Scott Hall at the pay-per-view. We will be having extra security, and to make sure that nobody can interfere in your match, that you and Triple H can have a fair one-on-one matchup, it will be a steel cage matchup to where nobody can get inside the cage, nobody can get outside the cage. And Shawn's just like, all right, thank you, Vince, for giving me another match. Vince is like, no problem, don't mention it. I appreciate you staying loyal, unlike Hall and Nash. I appreciate you staying loyal to the WWF and everything like that. And Shawn's basically like, well, you didn't turn your back on me when I was having demons and personal problems, and you stuck by my side, and you made sure I was alright. You called me every day to make sure I was, you didn't hassle me in coming back. You called me every day to check on me, make sure I had money, make sure my wife and kid were taken care of, and I appreciate that. It's like, no problem, anything I can do for you. You're one of my top stars. You're one of my biggest draws here in the World Wrestling Federation, and I'm glad that you stuck loyal to me 2 years ago, and everything like that. He's basically thanking Shawn for staying loyal, and Shawn's thanking him for giving him another opportunity at the World Wrestling Federation Championship match, which will be a steel cage at this Sunday at the Unforgiven pay-per-view, to make sure that Hall and Nash cannot interfere, and there will be extra security. So Hall and Nash will have a hard time breaking into the building and causing mayhem. We move on to the next segment of the night, which is our opening contest to determine the number one contender for the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship, and a bout that had terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat. Lance Storm defeats Jushin Thunder Liger and the Prince Brian Lawler when Lance Storm submitted Liger with a single leg Boston Crab, a Canadian Maple Leaf. Lance Storm with the highest rating of the matchup with a 57, Jushin Thunder Liger with a 54, and Brian Lawler with a 53. That's the color commentary gave the match a boost, and the match got a 60. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Lance Storm is the number one contender. After the matchup, Michael Cole interviews Lance Storm, and Lance Storm pretty much saying, I've earned this number one contendership matchup. I proved that I deserve to be a champion here in the World Wrestling Federation. And not only will I be a champion in the World Wrestling Federation, I'll be the best light heavyweight champion in the World Wrestling Federation. He puts over Eddie, and he's like, we're going to have a good match at the pay-per-view. I can't wait for that matchup. And I know that Eddie's going to give me everything, because Eddie knows that I'm going to give him everything. I gave the microphone to Eddie Guerrero. That's why I got a 91. But yeah, Lance Storm looking forward to his title match at the Unforgiven pay-per-view for the Light Heavyweight Championship. We move on to our next segment of the match, which is a promo by Tommy Dreamer. And he says, he's backstage with his Hardcore Championship, and he goes, his head's all busted open. He has, patches on his head, and he goes, Raven, I was the last person that wanted to see ECW sell out to the World Wrestling Federation. At one point in my life, I eat, sleep, and breathe ECW. I eat, sleep, and breathe hardcore wrestling. Hardcore wrestling is in my veins. I love those fans just as much as those fans love me. And I came here with the promise from Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon himself that I had every opportunity, that had everything in my arsenal to be a top star here in the World Wrestling Federation. And then when I'm sitting at home in Philadelphia and you're putting down a place that you once worked in, that you're running down the fans that once cheered you and quote every word that you said, it made me sick to my stomach to watch you beat up guys like Terry Funk, to beat up guys, people that I looked up to, like Mick Foley, who paved the way for us in the World Wrestling Federation. Who paved the way for guys like me and you to be able to come here and make a living. And it makes me sick, Raven, that not only do you attack me with your help of your little goons, the Hardys, but you attack my innocent, beautiful wife. And you bring my kids into it. I don't care what I have to do. I don't care who I have to talk to. But Raven, this Sunday at Unforgiven, your sins that you've put upon me and my family will be unforgiven when I beat you to a bloody fucking pulp. And he throws down the microphone and he walks off. We go on to our next matchup, which is Steve Blackman taking on Mark Merrow. And Steve Blackman beats Mark Merrow in a hardcore match in 8-22 by pinfall. The match got a 61. Steve Blackman got an 80 of 58, not an 85 of 58. And Mark Merrow with a 59. Announcing color commentary gave the match a boost, and Sable did some great work at ringside. Mark Merrow cannot catch a break, man. He is losing. He can't catch a break here in the World Wrestling Federation. We move on to our next segment, which is a recap of what happened on Monday Night Raw. And I hate doing recaps, but sorry guys. But we see the recap of the handicap match, not the hardcore match, the handicap match that Vince McMahon booked with Undertaker, Kane, and Steve Austin. It's going to be Undertaker and Kane taking on Stone Cold Steve Austin. And whoever beats Stone Cold Steve Austin and takes out Stone Cold Steve Austin and pins Austin will be the #1 contender for the World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Championship. But as we've seen, Undertaker believed that Kane was just going to step aside, but Kane wants that shot at the World Heavyweight Championship just as much as Undertaker. Vince, the master manipulator that he is, putting these two brothers against each other. Will these two brothers be able to work together and take out Stone Cold Steve Austin, or will their greed have the better of them of being World Heavyweight Champion? We will have to find out tomorrow night at Unforgiven. We move on to our next segment of the night, which is the Hart Foundation. As we've seen on Monday Night Raw, it seemed like Owen Hart was going to beat the 10 count, but he could not make it back in the ring. He could not make it back into the ring by the count of 10. He barely made it at the count of 10. Referee rung the bell. He got counted out. I mean, he did have the better of Brett, but he was unable to beat the 10 count to get in the ring. We see Owen and Brett arguing backstage over their exhibition, saying that, Owen's like, I beat you, and Brett's like, no, I beat you, and Owen's just like, I got in the ring by 10, I beat you, and they're arguing, and Davey's getting in the middle of it, and it's like, man, y'all need to chill out. Like, y'all are supposed to be brothers. And then Brett kind of pushes Davey out of the way, and Davey's like, what the hell? And then he gets back in Owen's face, and British Bulldog, he just gets fed up, and he throws his arms up, and he walks out. And Brett's like, you think you're better than me, huh? You think that you can beat me? He's like, I tell you what. He's like, why don't we have ourselves an official match at Unforgiven? Just me and you. No Hart Foundation, no interference, no count out, false count anywhere, anything goes match. And Owen's just like, yeah, that sounds great, because once I humiliate you and beat you for all, maybe that will shut your loudmouth ass up. And Brett's like, my loudmouth, you're the one claiming that you're King of Hearts. And then the camera guy, they just keep fighting, brotherly love, keep fighting each other, and the camera then pans off and goes off, We move on to our next segment. It is going to be a falls count anywhere, anything goes, must be a winner matchup between Owen and Bret the Hitman Hart at the Unforgiven pay-per-view. We are going to move on to our next segment, which is Edge and Christian taking on the Hollies in a poor match. Edge and Christian defeat the Hollies when Edge pinned Bob Holly after a spear. Crash was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everybody else. He got a 46. Edge with a 71. Christian with a 76. Gosh. Crash with a 48. And Bob Holly with a 61. Christian and Edge showed excellent chemistry teaming together. Announcing color commentary gave the match a boost. The match got a 70. Not bad at all. We move on to our next segment. And it is Chris Jericho. And he's backstage and he's getting interviewed by Michael Cole. And Michael Cole goes, we found out on Monday Night Raw that The Rock went to Vince McMahon looking for Stephanie, but he said that Stephanie was with you, and The Rock then asked for a title shot, and Vince gave it to him. And Jericho's just like, that's typical Rock, huh? That's a typical Rock, isn't it? He was too busy on the phone with his movie deals and his movie star talking about being a king of scorpions and being in a mommy movie, because that's what he is a big baby, and he needs a mommy. But you see, me, the Ayatollah of rock and rolla, Chris Jericho, found something that he was taking for granted. You see, while he was on the phone, Stephanie was begging and craving for his attention. And like every woman in the world, when she doesn't get attention, she finds somebody else. And Stephanie found out why I'm not only the best in the world in the ring at what I do, but she found out why I'm the best in the world at what I do. And Jericho kind of smiles and winks at the camera. And he goes, so The Rock wants a match for my Intercontinental Championships this Sunday. Well, The Rock, I guess Vince already booked it. The Rock is going to find out. And not only am I going to humiliate him and beat him and retain my Intercontinental Championship, but I'm also going to make it official with one Stephanie McMahon. And he looks right in the camera and he goes, Steph, I know you're back at the hotel waiting for me. And I can't wait to get back to the hotel to you. Because, baby, I'm going to rock your world one more time. And he gives a wink, and he walks off. And Michael Cole's just like, okay then. Segment got a 90. Good promo by Jericho. Just kind of hoping it did better. Announced the color commentary, gave the match a boost, but the segment lost heat. This storyline is super over. Super, super over. I think that is our highest rated storyline, along with Austin events. But we are going to move on to our next segment, which is our main event. In an exceptional match, the Big Show defeats Ken Shamrock after a clothesline. As we know, Big Show had enough. He doesn't want to be in the hardcore division. He wants to be in the World Heavyweight Championship division. He wants to be the World Heavyweight Champion. He got a 95. Ken Shamrock with an 87. Not bad, Shamrock. He wants the World Heavyweight Championship. He wants, he broke away from Raven. He said he's not doing this shit anymore. He's going for it. He wants to be World Heavyweight Champion. That's why he came here, is to be World Heavyweight Champion, just like he was in WCW. But after the match, through the crowd, it's Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, and Vader. We haven't seen them since they lost the tag team titles well over a month ago. Jump over the barricade. They've run through the barricade, through the crowd, jump and start attacking the Big Show and screaming, "Do you remember me? Huh? You forgot about what you did to us, didn't you? You forgot about us, didn't you?" And they're just beating the holy shit out of the Big Show. The segment got a 98. We are going to have to find out why the hell they're attacking the Big Show. Last I've heard, both their contracts were up, and it seemed like they were jumping to WCW, but I don't know. They're here in the World Wrestling Federation. We're going to have to find out. Maybe we can get some answers on Sunday Night Heat, but we are going to have to finish the show, guys. The show got an 89. Not bad at all. Increased our popularity in 26 regions. We are going to go ahead and finish the show. But we are going to have to find out on Sunday Night Heat before the pay-per-view. Thank y'all for watching, guys. Thank y'all for liking the video, like always. Thank y'all for leaving a comment down below. For those of y'all who do leave a comment down below, Edge's Money, put a rocket on him. I've been getting that a lot lately, along with Christian. Most of the time I don't show that off, but I know that we have nothing important right there. But my name is Dylan the Villain, guys. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for liking the video. Thank y'all for commenting down below. If you're new to this channel and stumbled upon this channel and like what you see, the subscribe icon will be right here. If you want this episode and want to go back and catch up on the storylines and watch previous episodes, that playlist will be right here. And if you're looking for something a little bit more extreme, we have a 2001 ECW developmental save. It's a what-if scenario of what if ECW became the developmental territory for the World Wrestling Federation instead of OVW in the year 2001. My name is Dylan the Villain, guys, and like we always say here at Pro Am Gaming, if you can't play with each other, do what I'm doing right now and play with yourself. Thank y'all for watching, guys, and I will see y'all on Sunday Night Heat, and I will see y'all at Unforgiven.